Let's see here. Do any of you have your ears pierced? You have your ears pierced? You have any earrings in right now? No. What's that? Your ears aren't doing very good. How about you guys? Do you guys have earrings sometimes? No? You don't have pierced ears. Most of the ladies here, most of you have pierced ears, don't you? No? Some people are going to know, mine clip on. Do you guys know why people started wearing jewelry like that? Like, why would somebody put a hole through their ear to put a piece of gold maybe into it? Why would people start doing that? To look better? Because it's pretty, right? It looks nice. How many guys do you know nowadays that have earrings? There are not as many as it. Yeah, I actually have my ear pierced, but I haven't worn an earring in about 12, 13 years. Yeah, what do you think? Oh, you've got earrings there too. Did you know that it used to be that we wore earrings for a different reason? What are your ears for? What are our ears for? Can you tell me? Because we have to hear, right? So we have our ears so that we can hear. So what do you think putting a piece of gold might mean about why would we put that on there? What does gold like? Does gold have any meaning, a special meaning? Your ear is very important to your body. That could be part of it. When we talk about like somebody has a crown of gold, who would be the most important person to have a crown of gold? God, right? The Lord actually, anytime we read about gold, it's talking about the Lord. So if we think about it, if we put earrings, gold earrings into our ears, it actually meant the person we're going to listen to is the Lord. That's kind of what a gold earring would represent. Isn't that a nice thing? And we've kind of forgotten about that these days. We just think, oh, it's pretty. But a lot of the jewelry we used to wear back a long time ago, they would think about, how is this about me and the Lord? So we wear gold earrings to say, I'm going to listen to the Lord and I'm going to obey the Lord. Like if we wore a gold bracelet, for instance, it's going to go, I'm going to do everything for the Lord. That would be a gold bracelet because we use our arms to do things, right? We're going to read a story this morning about some people who took all of their gold earrings out of their ear and gave them to the priest, and the priest made, do you guys know this story? A golden calf, right? Exactly, not a calf. We should only be listening to the Lord. You're right on. Okay, so we're going to read this story from Exodus chapter 25. Exodus chapter 32. Beginning at the first verse, it says, Now when the people saw that Moses had delayed coming down from the mountain, and you remember Moses was up on the mountain to get the 10 commandments from the Lord. So Moses was up on the mountain, and it took him a while to come back. So the people gathered together to Aaron and said to him, Come, make us gods so that shall go before us. For as this Moses, the man who brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we don't know what has become of him. So they're thinking, well, maybe Moses died up on the mountain. We don't know what happened to him. He's been gone too long. So Aaron said to them, Break off the golden earrings which are in the ears of your wives and your sons and your daughters, and bring them to me. So all the people broke off the gold earrings that were in their ears and brought them to Aaron. And he received the gold from their hand, and he fashioned with it an engraving tool and made a golden calf. Then they said, This is your God, O Israel, that brought you up out of the land of Egypt. Do you think a golden calf was their God that brought them out of Egypt? No. God was, exactly. You are totally right. Let's keep on reading. So when Aaron saw it, he built an altar before it, and Aaron made a proclamation and said, Tomorrow is a feast to the Lord. Then they rose early on the next day and offered burnt offerings and brought peace offerings, And the people sat down to eat and drink, and they rose up to play. And the Lord said to Moses, "Get down, for your people who you brought out of the land of Egypt have corrupted themselves. They have turned aside quickly out of the way which I commanded them. They have made themselves a molded calf and worshipped it and sacrificed to it and said, 'This is your God, O Israel, who brought you out of the land of Egypt.' And the Lord said to Moses, 'I have seen this people, and indeed it is a stiff-necked people. Now therefore let me alone, that my wrath may burn hot against them, and I may consume them, and will make you a great nation.'" So they took all of their earrings, and Aaron molded it into a giant golden calf. If you guys want, you can see this picture. You see the big golden calf? And all the people around it worshiping it. It looks like they decided to put like a sun image on top, but I don't know if that's exactly how it looked. But it's a big golden calf. Think of how many earrings they must have taken out of that to make that big golden calf. Lots of earrings. So you guys were exactly right about we should be only listening to the Lord. Why might people not listen to the Lord? Do we ever sometimes not listen to the Lord? Yeah? Yeah, they are like, uh-huh. We all kind of do this at times, don't we? Mm-hmm. Sometimes we forget. That's very true. Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. And sometimes we forget to read the Lord's Word. Sometimes we don't do that every day. And if you think about it, it's kind of like, Moses went up onto this mountain, right? And they didn't know where he was. Well, the Lord's Word is a lot like Moses. When we read about Moses in the Lord's Word, it's talking about the Lord's Word. And so if we think about, well, Moses has been away for so long, do you think that's because the Lord's Word isn't around us? No, it's probably because we've been ignoring it. We've not been paying enough attention to it. So when we don't regularly go to the Lord's Word and read and think about the things He teaches us, sometimes we stop thinking about hearing Him or listening to Him. And what do you think we listen to instead of the Lord when we forget that He's there or we don't think about Him very often? Hell, that's right. We often listen to hell, and we often also listen to only ourselves. So a golden calf, this is more for the adults, a golden calf actually represents natural goods or natural pleasures. So sometimes when we get carried away with our own things that please us and the things that we like and want and feel good, it's like taking our earrings, our obedience to the Lord, and putting our obedience into the things that make us feel good. And that's not a good thing. So this is the story about Moses and Aaron making this golden calf out of things that should be dedicated to the Lord. And this is an important lesson to remember. We always need to go back to the Lord because sometimes we forget. But if we remember and do it every day, we won't ever fall into the trap of accidentally taking off our obedience to the Lord, the golden earrings, and we won't accidentally do things that are wrong. Sometimes we purposefully do, but that's not a good idea either. Yeah. That's right. And you know what? Now that he knows that those golden earrings, what they mean, I bet you he'll think about them a lot more, won't he? And go, this is about my obedience to the Lord. Yeah. Kind of, yeah.
Because he took what was supposed to be for the Lord and used it for a party.
That's exactly right. So he's remembering the story from Daniel and the king that took all of the stuff out of the temple, all of the gold and the silver from the temple, and he decided to use it for a big party. So all of the vessels that were in the temple, they would pour wine into it, and he used it for a big party. And that's exactly right. He used what was the Lord's for something that really wasn't at all for the Lord. You've got a really good memory. Thank you.